Hey guys, welcome back. A little bit different on the video, but it's kind of some of the mix of things I talked about, like adding more things into this channel. So this is more faith-based. It's not your thing, click off, that's fine. But I want to talk about, like the title had said, despite everything that has been thrown at us and going on in this world, yes, we have to pay attention to that. Yes, we have to prep accordingly in all areas and things like that. We have to always keep our eye on Israel. That's biblical. I mean, read the good book, you'll see why. So there's two things that have been going on with Israel, which is giving some of their power away and how that fits biblically to some time. So two things. One of the things that had went on is Israel had gone on to share their nuclear secrets and knowledge with the countries in the Abraham Accord, which in that is the Arab nations. That's one. These are more recent things. I'm not saying other things haven't gone on. And also, Israel has surrendered to Hezbollah, and Israel gave the approval for the U.S. broker deal, for the U.S. to broker a deal with two large gas fields. They are located near the maritime border between Israel and Lebanon. And the thing about that is those two are still officially at war. Okay? So they gave that okay. So this is, when you see these, that's a power shift of them relinquishing certain powers. Okay? So follow me. So where this starts fitting for things is you go to Ezekiel 38 and 39, because these are the times, we're in. So there's these long list of nations that will attack Israel. It's biblical, and in there's certain ways that how it's named in the Bible is it different than modern names like Rosh. That's that's Russia and stuff like that. So there's a long list of nations that's listed in Ezekiel that will attack Israel. Daniel also describes this, Daniel 11, 5 through 35. Check that out also. But Ezekiel states that Gog, from a national leader, that's in 38, 1 through 2, Gog is the prince of Russia, which is Russia. Gog is just a title. I think there's sometimes a misconception about that, but Gog is from Magog. And so the modern terms for these is like, Turkey, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and Germany. So before, it talks about this great invasion from the north in Israel, how, read that, that area in Ezekiel. But before the Russia alliance can invade Israel, these type of things have to happen, because this is a timeline. The great book, it tells us. And, one of the things is with Israel, the Jews are going to return. They're going to start fleeing back to their homeland. And we had been seeing that for the last couple of years. We had seen all this mass amount of Jews were leaving different areas of the world and fleeing back there. And it says Israel must be prosperous in her land. Keep that about what I'm getting ready to talk about. Also, Israel must be at peace in her land. Now, when are these? That's a big thing. Always, like when. Some of these we don't know. But when those things take place, Israel will, when it lowers its defense, that is going to be, either at the start or right before the tribulation. That is what the good book says. And at the time of the rapture, the Antichrist will make a 7-year deal with Israel. And it'll come in, it'll disarm, because the Antichrist is going to be paying like, oh my gosh, this wonderful Savior. Oh my gosh, yes, they're going to do all this, because it's going to look like that to those who have their blinders on. And it said Israel will disarm Israel, and Israel will lean heavily on the Antichrist, because they're going to lean on that's their weakness. Like they're doing things here. Right now we're seeing they're making us more defenseless. That's what they're trying to do. And they want us to lean more on them, the system, right? Because that gives them power. And Israel is going to focus on increasing her wealth and be defenseless against the northern invasion. Now, when, we don't know. I mean, it even says in Matthew, even, Jesus himself does not know the hour of certain things. But, in Ezekiel 38:18 through 19, it describes God's response of this invasion from Russia. See, these things, this is biblical times. That's why we say there's things are going to be unleashed and come to pass that have never been seen before, that we could not imagine. But later in the chapter, it describes about massive casualties in the Northern Coalition and a list of natural disasters. And then God will unleash his judgment on them for all this, because, he's going to come against that. But I don't know, Ezekiel 38:39, that's been heavily on since last week. And the more that I see that, even back to the sea illness and to Israel being one of the strictest place for this, okay, that was, I know, like, the earthly part of me, the flesh was just like, how out of all the places could they do this after everything that was done and forced upon the Jews back in World War II? Why would they be so forceful and do these type? I mean, it was so heavily there, more than other places. Why would they do that? But all this has to come to pass. So many things in the Bible, it has to happen. These things have to happen because it says it's going to happen, and it sets up for everything: the Antichrist, the tribulation, the rapture, on and on and on. So I encourage people, yes, you got to stay focused on what is going to affect, us. The things that are going on. WW3 is coming. All these different things that could happen. We prep. We prep for things that could possibly go on, so we're ready. But still, don't ever lose focus that you still have to keep an eye, because sometimes the stuff with Israel, it's just kind of quietly pushed in, behind everything else. You have to keep your eye on Israel and what's going on. And so, like, last week, that's just been on my mind. It's just kind of, I just saw them giving up more and more of this power, these things that they're giving away, which is biblically fitting. And I just encourage you, and I've been doing this, I regularly do this, is to find your path for the things that are coming. Because that's going to be a big shift. That's what I'll say. It's going to be a big shift for everyone, no matter who you are, your status. There's going to be a big shift on what we're going to be facing in this world. But we're still going to have a path. I've talked about that before, about how, God chose all of us to be here during this very time for a reason. Okay, so we have to trust that. And praying for God to equip you in all ways to complete what he has set out for each of us. I think that is important, because I think that when, we're so bombarded, things are turned upside down, chaos, on and on, we have to still stay the course. We still have to find, his purpose for us and pray about that. I constantly, every single day, pray for a hedge of protection around myself, my family, our homestead, do that. Please, pray a hedge of protection over yourselves and your family. And I always pray for him to guide and provide for us, because it's going to come. Yes, we prep and prep and prep. We do our parts here, physically and earthly. And we've been talking about, mentally preparing and spiritually preparing, like we're doing right here. Is you have to pray for that, and to quiet the noise around us so we can clearly hear him. And that can be hard. I know it can be hard, because we're bombarded with so much stuff, and my mind never completely stops. It's always kind of going. That's just my personality. But you have to find that quietness of things and listen to him. That's why you got to stay in his word and follow things that are biblically laid out for us. There was this book that was biblically written out, and it's going to be more accurate and reliable than any news source, media, YouTube, anything else. So it's something I want to encourage you guys with today on, a faith-based. Everyone stay well, God bless, and I will see you next time.